Hi again and welcome back. Now the data you're getting will always fluctuate. Sales increase during Black Friday, traffic increases whenever you send out a newsletter or hold a live event, and of course both sales and the traffic will decrease if your site for some reason should go down. For example, if you got hacked or your host servers just dropped. Now in any case, when you review your data and make decisions from it, you want it to be as accurate as possible. And in order to make it as accurate as possible, you can set out annotations for all of your spikes and drops to better understand what happened to your traffic and why. Now this will make a huge difference over time when you look back and understand your ups and downs and take decisions from it. Okay, let's dive in and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now let's head over to audience here on the left and move over to overview. Now, if you're seeing this comparison chart just like I am, that means you're coming from the previous lecture with me, and all you need to do is go back to the dates and check off this compare to, and then click on apply, and we're gonna have a month here as usual. Now, if we look at the chart going on right here, we've learned to look for patterns already, okay? So if we look here, we can see that there's a drop on Saturday, there's a drop on Sunday, and then comes Monday, and then there is a peak, and then the weekdays are great, and then the weekends are much worse, okay? But now when we're looking at these statistics and we see there's an unusually high peak here, and we ask the question, why is that? That might be really important, especially if the peak would be up here or something, for when we're looking back to this peak from the previous years, or for the coming years rather. So if we want to understand this peak, let's say that this peak exists because we had a product release, and we want to make sure that when we scan our data 1 year from now, we remember that this peak exists because we released a product and we sent out an email with that new product, so everyone got really hungry for it and went to our website, and that's why we're having so many new users peaking on this Monday, the 27th of September. So in order to create an annotation here to remind ourselves of this, all we need to do is go down here. It's a little hidden arrow that points down. We click on it and then go to the right where it says create new annotation. And then what we need to do is check out what date is this. It's the 27th of September 2021. So we're gonna click here, we're gonna go to September, that's back, that's right. And then the 27th, here it is. And then we're gonna write something, just released and announce our new product. I don't know, the swivel sweeper. I think that's actually some vacuum cleaner or floor cleaner from like the 90s or 2000s. But let's pretend that we actually released this product at this time. Okay, so now we have the visibility, private or shared. If it's shared, that means that if you have multiple people who are accessing these analytics, everyone can see your annotations. But if you keep it on private, then only you can see your annotations. So if it's if you have multiple people in the analytics and there's something that's big that affects your entire business, of course you want to share it with everyone. But if it's something that's just for your eyes, or you alone are using this analytics and this account, then you can just keep it on private by default. And then I'm gonna click on save, and as you can see, now we have a little dot set out here that's gonna remind us that something happened here. And if I click on it, we're gonna see that down here it says just released and announced our new product, the swivel sweeper, okay, the 27th of September. So this is really gonna help us out. Let's say, for example, that we are looking year to year, just like we were learning in the previous lecture, and then we put on previous year, and then we click on apply. So now when we're looking back and we're seeing that, okay, we can see that there's a really big peak here, especially compared to the previous year. I mean, the 27th of September wasn't really that impressive when we're looking at 2020, but when we're looking at 2021, it really is that impressive. So we want to ask why, and we can see that down here, there's a little sign of something, okay? And if I click there, it's gonna bring out the annotation that shows me which date it is, which is here, 27th, and it says September 27th, 2021, just released and announced our new product, the swivel sweeper. So this is just a fantastic way whenever something would happen. And the same would go if we have a dip. Let's say that this just crashes down here, and that's because you got hacked, or your host went down, or something happened to your website, so everything just crashed. So 1 year later, when you're looking back and you're asking, hey, what happened? Did we do something wrong? Well, if you have an annotation that says, well, the servers crashed, or blah blah blah, then you'll know what happened and you can account for that and you can understand your statistics better. So once again, in order to make decisions from your statistics and realize that there's nothing really magical about this date, the magical part is that you actually release something and announce that to your audience, and that is why you have a peak, and that means that you can treat the data accordingly. Now, there are more ways to look for patterns when it comes to these charts. For simplicity, I'm going to remove the compare to and hit apply. Now, right now we're looking at users and we can see this peak, but what we also can do is we can move to average session duration and see, are there any changes? For example, we know what happened on the 27th of September, right? We can see that here, but that did not increase the average session duration. Now, with a little luck, when we release something new, we would see a peak here, but we didn't. So you can change this chart and see it from many different angles. What about the bounce rate? You just released a new product, you just had a bunch of more people coming in. What happened to the bounce rate? Well, it really dropped down. Well, that means that the product you released to that audience wasn't really a match made in heaven. So this is once again different ways of looking at the statistics and understanding what is happening and why. Okay, the why is the release, and understanding what is happening, you can see it through the different eyes with the different charts. So new users, average session duration, and bounce rate, those are some really important statistics, or rather important eyes that you can use to gather data and to make decisions from. So this is how you set out annotations and why you set out annotations. So remember, whenever you have a spike, something going up, or a drop, something really going far down, that you understand why it happened, set out an annotation. You're gonna thank yourself later. Okay, great. And now you have a deep understanding of the analyzing part of Google Analytics. Now let's head in even deeper and start setting up our tracking so we can start getting alerts for events. So not only do we understand what's happening when we're looking back, but we will be warned in real time when something is going on. And we're also going to set up our tracking for leads and sales. Okay, see you in the next section and in the next lecture.